How's it going? I'm Nate Dizzle. I'm from Seattle, Washington.
How long have you been doing glass work?
About 9 years now. Started in June of 2002.
What or who got you into doing borrow torch work?
Oh man, it was a long process getting started, but it was really the work of Max Pullen that made me want to get started and get on the torch. I bought some of his pieces in like '99 and 2000 and stared at them for countless hours and hours and hours.
Nice.
And yeah, I pretty much knew at that point that I had to at least try it. And as soon as I tried it, I was like,
okay, who in the industry, whether they're past, present, you've ever met them or not, who in the industry do you kind of admire and why?
There's everyone. I don't know. I mean, I admire pretty much everyone in the industry. I would say, you know, there's a lot of really great people, and there's a lot of really great crews out there that are working together and really advancing the industry. And I think that's what it's all about. As long as you're pushing yourself, then, you know, hell yeah, I totally support whatever you're doing.
What do you really like to make that you just don't end up making very often? But every time you do, you're like, that's sick, I need to make more of it, and then you don't.
Yeah, masks.
Masks?
Yeah, I love making masks. Yeah, like big solid wall hanging style masks and stuff. But tend to get like halfway through them and start realizing like, oh man, I got all these other projects to go, and kind of stop short or end up just like putting them on the side. And I've got a few that have been sitting around for a couple years now, you know, gathering dust.
Who do you work with or collab with?
I've got a big studio up in Seattle. I've got 5 people that are working my shop. It's Brian Dosher, JD Mapleston, Duende, then I got Eli Z and Ease working my shop whenever they're working.
Who would you really dig doing a collab with just because you like their work? Like if you had a chance.
I'd love to work with Jason Lee and Banjo. Yeah.
Banjo.
I've talked to both of them, and yeah, I've always wanted to, and I'm gonna do what I can to make it happen.
All right. To your fans, what do you got to say to them?
Oh man, thank you so much for all your support, and I'll keep doing what I do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jason Lee. I've been blowing glass for 17 years. Live in Eugene, Oregon, and work with Marcel Braun.
What or who got you into doing borrow torch work?
I was on Grateful Dead tour. Everyone had these amazing pieces made by Snodgrass and his family. It was the only place to find them long before there were any in any shops or anything. Realizing that there was an art form out there made for people like me, by people like me, entirely with our own microcosm, made me realize that this is what I needed to be doing. This is where I fit.
Who are a few people from this industry that you admire, and why? Or you admire their work, or, you know?
Hard question, due to so many, where to start. All my fellow artists for being part of this community, for being slaving away in our garages doing this. Huge respect to Tattoo John, now passed. I got to watch him blow a piece. That's how I got my start in glass. He made me a piece while I watched, and I never had any classes or anything, but seeing him make that piece that one day was just an amazing thing. He invited me into his shop when there was very little sociability amongst artists. Very cool. With that today. In modern day, no one taps my creative appreciation more than Clinton.
What do you like to make that you just don't make very often? And when you make it, you're like, I need to make more of that. And then you just don't end up making it because you got these orders and that.
Sculpture. I have the support of amazing fans who would totally buy other things from me, but they expect a certain quality of line work and things that I've a progression. It's been a progression to a certain style of work, and I don't know. To a degree, that's kind of where that's the artist that I represent myself as. And then I have many other artists in me that make other things, but I don't try and market them as much because they're not. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. Who do you work with now, or collab with a lot now?
I work with Marcel Braun at his shop in Eugene, Oregon, and we collab several times a year. I collab with my friends more than artists that I appreciate. I collab with my friends that I enjoy working with,
Totally.
and find the things that we can say together.
I know it's an odd question for somebody at your skill level, but if you had a chance, you know, just because you dig their work, who would you like to do a collab with?
Oh, Clinton by far.
Clinton?
Yeah, I'd love to spend a week with him and just see what could happen.
Yeah.
With his techniques and mine combined, it's just, there'd be so few holes in the game. It'd be awesome.
That'd be a pretty sick piece. I'd like to see that. Okay, last question. Look in the camera and to your fans, what do you got to say to them?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting me in this. Giving me a life. That's really what you've done. Thank you.
My name is Jason Sparks from Atascadero, California.
How long you been doing glass work?
I've been blowing for about 4 years now. Got going.
What or who got you into doing blowtorch work?
Let's see, that would be probably... I had a buddy that was blowing glass for about 10 years. And I'd always buy pipes from him, just go and check it out every once in a while. And I was never that really involved in what was going on. I just wanted the piece when it was done. And so I had a buddy that was selling a torch in a kiln. And I went over to check it out. I got an M8 and an old fucking ceramics kiln, big motherfucker, for 150 bucks, a set of regulators and hoses. So I didn't really know what I had. I went home, checked it out online, and it would have cost me like $1,000 or more to get all that shit. And I was like, man, maybe I should try this shit out myself. Went and got some tanks and fired it up, man. The rest is history. It's been on from there.
Who are a few people in the industry that you admire and why?
There's so many people around here with badass shit, but I'd have to say I'm liking a lot of the Darby shit and banjo stuff. Those guys are just ridiculous with the way they're making awesome shit out of them. So many pieces of just putting it together and just flow and shit. It's just ridiculous. That stuff's crazy. I'm liking anything with like multicolor work and just solid color. Anything that's technical, lots of little technical shit, honeycombs and fucking readies and all that cool shit. I'm trying to stay away from line stuff, so I like people's stuff that's, you know, do more out there shit. It gets my brain stimulated.
Who do you work with now, or collab with now? Or?
I've done a couple collabs with Nerd up in San Jose. He's a badass. He's always cool to go hang out with. And Mr. Wizard, my inspirational pimp master teacher, taught me how to fucking flow glass and make shit sick and big. After that, yeah, that's about it. I've collabed with Lurch, Christina Cody. We did a couple cool pieces, and it's fun.
If you had a chance to, just because you dig their style so much, and had a chance to collab with anybody, who would it be? You can name off 5 or 10 if you want to.
Yeah, there would be some badasses. Probably, I'd like to get on some shit with Salt because I've always dug his shit, and I like trying to do some sculpty shit. Kind of fun. Shit. I don't know. There's so many people. I would collab with anybody, but I just have to be down. If somebody asked me to collab with them, I would just be like so stoked to do it. I'd just be down.
Right on.
Hey, what's up, man? My name's Jared, J Red. I'm from north of Seattle in Arlington area right now. It's halfway to Bellingham. It's a cool little zone out in the wilderness.
How long have you been doing glass work?
I've been blowing glass for 13 to 14 years and kind of iffy on how far yet, but yeah, 13 or 14 years.
And who or what like got you into doing boral torch work?
I had a friend that was, when I was in high school, he was one of the first glassblowers in our town, and I was, buying pieces off of him and selling them, and he just got to a point where he couldn't make me enough stuff to sell, so I figured that I'd ask him to teach me if, for a certain price, or have him make something in front of me and I'd pay him for it. And that was really where I got my start, just through a friend.
What's his name?
Ryan Burke was his name. He actually passed away about 5 years back. So I made him a really cool urn. It's on my web, or on my Glass Pipes page.
What's your Glass Pipes page? Tell everyone.
Glass Pipes is under J-Red, J-R-E-D. I post all of my work from the past 13 years on it. Vases, goblets, wine glasses, pipes, bubblers, tubes, all sorts of stuff.
Who are a few people in the industry, whether they're from back in the day, like your buddy who taught you, or they're around now, who are a few people you admire, and why? Is it about their style or what attitude?
Most definitely Jason Lee, for like the original techiness of glass blowing, taking montage patterns and really like making it technical, like getting the patterns to line up, getting swirls and everything to work together, and Jason Lee was definitely a big influence on me for sure, because of the area where I lived at. They were really going off in Seattle at the time when I was learning, and a lot of the Seattle blowers at the time were just coming up with all the new techniques. I think the collabo was coined in Seattle with a bunch of those guys in the Glassworks Park area. Also, like a big fan. I'm a big fan of Robert Mickelson. Like one of the first real lamp working videos I ever saw was Robert Mickelson putting together a 3-foot tall vase with leopards and gazelles all over it. And that's like seeing an artist of that caliber make something like that was just so inspiring. Like gave me the the idea that I could eventually make something that cool. So I was super pumped on that. Like the first year into blowing glass, buying that video, that was like really key for me.
Who do you work with right now, and who do you collab with every now and then right now?
Right now I'm collabing a lot with Merck, a lot of the glassblowers in our area. We're just always really busy, so it's hard to get together and collab, but I'm trying to collab with like everybody across the country, really. I want to work. I think collabing is one of the most advantageous glass blowing events that we can do together. Like when you go and work with somebody and you do collabs, it like really enhances your ability to work, because of the fact that you're learning a different skill and you're kind of having to adapt to their style to make it work. It just doesn't work out really easy all the time, but everybody adapts, and then you get something that just wouldn't have happened otherwise. It's just really neat. A lot of people I like to collab with, like I said, Merck, and my homie Skaz. He's my old roommate, one of the guys I worked with for a while. He's a really good glass blower.
So are you solo in your shop now?
Right now I work with a couple different people, but they're more just my apprentices,
Gotcha.
and I'm kind of training a couple. They're really new. I've taught probably a good 10 of my best friends over the years I've been blowing glass, and I've collabed with every one of them. Every one of those persons has taught me a ton of things, so it's just really been unique collabing with people.
To your fans, like now, people that just dig the shit out of your work, what do you got to say to them?
Oh man, like really, I love this, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, and I appreciate anybody who ever saw my work, and was like, man, that's cool. I enjoy making people pieces that they enjoy to use and just like to look at and just pretty much have in their collection. I appreciate all the fans out there for buying any of my stuff, and I hope to sell a lot more. I'm really stoked to be in this situation, dealing with people and making stuff that people like. So thanks to all my fans, if I have any.